Hello, everyone. Welcome to our newest video series, Zenlayer Talks. I'll be sitting down with some of our key business leaders to dive into some really interesting and insightful topics. I'm your host, Stephen Din, and today I'm joined by our VP of Operations, Tim Mektrakarn, from his home in Los Angeles, California. Welcome, Tim, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Stephen.
Well, let's go ahead and jump right into today's topic, top IT operations challenges and how Zenlayer can solve them. So, Tim, what are some of the biggest challenges IT teams are facing today?
Yeah, so definitely one of the biggest challenges is the skills shortage, right? And so there's a lot of companies that are outsourcing very specific jobs to experts, and we need to make sure that when you're contracting with these vendors that you're holding them accountable for this job, right? And so the SLA should match it, whatever, if it's a availability SLA related to some kind of data center service or some kind of response SLA, just make sure that those contracts kind of match up with what it is you're outsourcing. Yeah, and the next biggest challenge that many enterprises are facing is around business continuity and disaster recovery. And so, whether you're going to outsource that entire operations out to a service provider like Zenlayer, or you're trying to build your own in a different geography, there are different things that you have to look at, right? From natural disasters to obviously cyber attacks, making sure that you're testing your backups and testing the plan on a continuous basis, right? At least once a year, you have to do a full kind of failover test and recovery. Making sure their employees are aware of the plan and communicating that plan out to the employees so that they're aware of when something happens, what is the reaction plan and how are we going to get back up and running as soon as possible, right? The final major challenge that's facing corporate IT is around their aging on-prem data centers and the migration to kind of a hybrid cloud edge computing scenario. And so 80% of enterprises will move to the edge by 2025. It is the future of enterprise computing.
Thanks so much for that, Tim. And speaking of which, what is the network edge and how does Zenlayer and its edge cloud solutions help IT teams overcome these challenges?
Yeah, so the edge is really getting the compute resources and the network resources closer to the user as possible, right? And so when you get it closer to the user, it allows for faster processing, right? And so the latency between where the data is being served or where it's being processed is as close to the user as possible, right? If I can have the data center right here in my office, it'll be the best experience. And you have more control. More control means that you should have improved security. And overall, that increases the overall user experience, right? It gives the person as low latency, as less hiccups as possible.
So what specifically makes Zenlayer unique?
So Zenlayer's backbone kind of traverses the entire globe, and we're able to reach 85% of the global internet population within 25 milliseconds. And so this allows us to connect to a lot of users in emerging markets a lot better than our competitors.
So what are the priorities of enhancing the Zenlayer platform for the future?
Yeah, it's definitely to increase our overall coverage map. And we're currently in 180 plus global POPs, but out of those 180, 130 are in emerging markets, right? And so we would really want to increase that even further and get into the secondary cities with large populations. We also need to increase our redundancy capabilities, our capacity, and so the ability to reroute customers' traffic to various subsea cable systems to reduce latency. So just basically overall performance, right? Using data that we have when we're monitoring the network to make better routing decisions, to be able to get the data to the destination as quick as possible.
Thank you so much, Tim, and thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed our first installment of Zenlayer Talks. Keep an eye out for our next additions to the series. Again, I'm your host, Stephen Din. We'll see you next time.